Hello, hello. Oh, we got a banner in the way. That's always fun. Let's remove our banners. There we go. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Mindy. How's it going?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now? My
You're all
mic's a little
good.
temperamental.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yay.
Sheila's still coming on, and I think we got a couple more practitioners jumping on here in a minute. Let's see here. Yeah, there's Judy. Hello, Judy. Yay. Still muted, I think. Can't hear you yet. Don't you love these technical difficulties?
I do. It wasn't recognizing one of my microphones at all, but can you hear me now?
Yep, you're good.
Perfect.
You're a little in the distance, so maybe some other microphone that's connecting, but we're good. We can hear you.
Okay, I'll try to speak up.
You're good. You're good. Okay, and I think we've got a couple more practitioners jumping on. We'll see who's able to get their technology going this morning. Apparently, it's a morning. I know Jody's trying to jump on here. So we'll see who gets to get on here. But I wanted to welcome everybody. We are streaming live to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of the fun places. And this is our roundtable discussion. And for those of you who don't know, who are just now learning what alternative healthcare solutions is, we are a collective of practitioners that are here to basically bridge the gap between Western medicine and alternative solutions to your health and wellness. So we are super excited to bring up this topic today. Let me check with Jody. Oh, she's having computer issues. Okay. So I'm super excited about this topic today because I feel like January is that month where we set our new goals, we set our new expectations for ourselves, and we like everything resets. Our health insurance resets, right? our our vision for that year resets. We try to disregard the last year, or at least glean the lessons from last year and leave the negativity behind and plan for 2025, right? And I know for myself, I plan on actually next week that I'm planning on Monday, I'll be in a cabin all week planning out my entire year for personal growth and for my business growth and just the vision of what I see for the future. But the whole purpose of this message and this entire themed event was to really help you to understand that transformation can happen where we put our mental focus, where we put our emotional focus. That's where that attention goes, right? And it's so important to rediscover parts of ourselves. I think that throughout life, we go through different parts of self-rediscovery, right? That's the theme. The theme is self-rediscovery. And I know for myself, I've gone through so many different versions of self-rediscovery, and I believe that many of my practitioners have gone through that as well. And I think that's part of life. It's part of transition. It's part of transformation, of really rediscovering parts of ourselves. So I am Jamie Lee, host and founder and visionary of Alternative Healthcare Solutions. I can't even talk this morning. And me personally, I've gone through rediscovery even just lately. Like, I am a mom of 8 children and just gave birth to my 8th. And there's such a huge age gap in my 7th and my 8th child, that it's almost like I went through this rediscovery of who I am with my last baby, after having so many years of not having a child. So now I'm going through this process of, okay, now I'm the new mom role again. I'm rediscovering all these things about my health, rediscovering all things about my emotions, my trajectory, everything, my future, what I visioned it, and what I really truly want for myself. Um, so yeah, it's just a constant renewing. And I wanted to really focus on this topic because it's so vital to our health and to really always be checking in with ourselves, right? Who are we? What are we doing? Where are we going? And a lot of people, this is the energy of January, right? um, so anyways, I want to go ahead and take a minute to introduce our panel of experts. We don't have a whole lot of time. Normally we have an hour and a half, but a lot of our practitioners have got busy days lined up for themselves. So we're going to have to jump off a little early, but I kind of wanted to go ahead and just give you an example of the diversity that we have on this group and who we are, what kind of knowledge and expertise we're bringing to the table. So we have Mendy Getz. Mendy, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hi, I'm Mindy Getz. I live in Kansas in the middle of nowhere, and I work with frequencies, helping people optimize their life, their health, and their wealth. I've been in this alternative world for a very long time. I used to run a homeopathic medicinary. I have all the other certifications and all those letters that go behind your name. But I'm so happy that I have found this community as well as frequency therapy. Grateful to be here.
Beautiful. And then we have Sheila. It's great to have you here, Mindy. Sheila Gardner.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I am a vocal and wellness coach. So I do a lot of different things, but I work with singers, I work with speakers, and help them with a holistic approach to their craft, as well as teaching families how to incorporate essential oils into just their normal daily lives when they're looking for more natural solutions. So kind of a little bit of everything, just depending on what people are looking for. So I always say if you have questions about something specific, any challenges, and we can work together to see how we can support you in that way, and then what the essential oils can do to help support your family and your body as well.
Love it. Love it. Welcome. So glad to have you. And then we have, let's see, Jody. Hi, Jody.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jody Solberg, and mental and behavioral health as well as coaching for the last 25 plus years. And I'm a certified master hypnotherapist. I focus on helping people heal from the effects of trauma, anxiety, and burnout, as well as things like hypnobirthing and prenatal bonding. So I'm also in the pre and perinatal psychology and perinatal mental health world as well. And I'm very excited to be here talking about fresh starts, new beginnings, and rediscovering our inner selves, because that is one of my favorite topics.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love what you bring to the table as well. Okay, and then we also have Judy. Hey, Judy, you want to tell everybody about yourself and introduce yourself?
Good morning. I'm Judy Lynham, and I am a functional blood chemistry analyst and an integrative nutrition health coach. And I've had a couple of people the last couple of weeks refer to me as the blood detective. And I kind of like that little nickname that I'm getting recently because I like helping people discover what's actually going on at a biochemical level inside of your body. Because so many times you struggle thinking, I don't know what's going on. I know I have symptoms. My doctor's telling me everything's normal. And yet, when we look at that biochemistry inside your own unique body, we can not only discover what's going on, but when we discover what's going on, that helps us create the strategy to heal as well. And so I love helping people discover themselves on that very, very basic level so that they can feel their very best.
Yes, I love it. I love it. We've got some great questions for today, and I'm really excited because it really shows you, how somebody could come on and say, okay, well, how do any of these people have anything to say? Why are they considered a panel of experts when we're dealing with such a diverse group? But The truth is that these areas of our mind, body, and spirit affect so much how we rediscover ourselves and who we are. We have to look at ourselves as a whole person, mind, body, and spirit. And sometimes our physical self is off and that interrupts our spiritual health, or our spiritual health is off and that interrupts our physical health. It's hand in hand. It is completely one. You cannot divide one from the other. And so this is really, an important topic that we're going to talk about. So what we do is we have this live stream roundtable discussion where you submit in your questions. And then what we'll do is we'll go around and we'll ask those questions to our panel of experts and answer them live here. And if we can't get to those questions with the amount that we have, then we will answer them in our live event. January 25th, we have an online virtual health fair that goes from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Ooh, there's Kate. And it is, yay, Kate. It is a fantastic event. You're able to attend those lives. You're able to ask the practitioner questions. You can come on camera or you can not. I mean, it's totally up to you. It's a great space, but this is really for you to experience these practitioners, tap into their knowledge and expertise, and really grow with them. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. Hi. I'm going to let Kate and Evangelina go ahead and introduce yourselves, and then we will go for there.
Okay, good. Kate can go first.
Okay. Hello, I'm Kate Simpson. I'm an energy healing practitioner. I work with both people and with pets, and I specialize in the emotion code, body code, and the global energy method. I absolutely love supporting clients with just kind of really helping them overcome the anxiety, stress, burnout, and just emotional baggage that they're dealing with. They may or may not even realize that they have some suppressed energies that are contributing with how they act and interact in the world. And so that's my area to kind of support and help and guide people through that. So I'm really happy to be here today.
Love it. Love it. Welcome.
I'm Evangelia. I'm a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, herbalist, and healer. I specialize in guiding women in wherever area they truly have trouble, especially in immune system, fertility, postpartum, and always from a holistic point of view, due of my personal experience and losses, and found my true calling within the herbs and knowing how you can truly replenish and remove toxic products from your system and truly just amplify holistic wellness through herbs and natural ways.
Love it. Welcome. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with questions that have been asked and kind of interview style. I have some of my questions of my own that I wanted to ask you guys to kind of show off your expertise a little bit, to kind of let people understand who you are and how you operate. I know we call this alternative healthcare solutions, but really this is the original healthcare solutions. And I think it's so funny, but we're getting back to those roots. We're getting back to our roots. We're getting back to that beginning. Okay. So the first question I have here is, how do you define self-rediscovery, and why do you believe it's an essential part of your personal growth? And I would also say of your health, like the growth of your transformation through healing, like any area, mind, body, or spirit. So Jody, I'm going to go ahead and let you answer first. Oh, wait, there we go. Sorry, Jody's having some issues there. We'll let Jody catch up. So let's see. Let's go to Kate first. Nope, still muted. There you go. Maybe.
Does that work? Hello?
Yep.
That's a really good question. How do I define self-rediscovery? I think it is different for everyone, but I really think it's stems to really just going inside and taking time to listen and feel into who you really are. I think that there's times when we're feeling pressure or stress or overwhelm and we're not acting and reacting in the way that we want, then we've kind of lost touch with that. And that would be a big indicator that it's time to maybe just step back into our rediscovery of who we really are. And, for me, it deals a lot with um, just understanding my emotions. It's a lot of times people think that, they don't want to feel negative energy or negative emotions. And all emotions are a physical part of who you are and they're a reaction to your environment, including your own thoughts. And so I think when you look at rediscovery, it really comes down to allowing yourself to feel, whether that is a positive or a negative emotion, whatever that is, and understanding that the information that's coming and why that's there. And it can really be a way to guide. So just being in touch with your own feelings is a way to rediscover. And I believe it's an essential part of personal growth because you can't move forward, you can't change, you can't grow unless you understand where you're at. And then if you understand that what you're feeling has you where you're at right now, then allowing yourself to invite new thoughts and new feelings into your world can help move you into that new space of where you want to be. And truly that's what personal growth is to me, is not so much necessarily achieving a specific thing, but allowing yourself to move into a new, better, strengthened identity or feeling about who you are. So,
well said. I love that. I think we can, like I said, go through levels of self-rediscovery. When in my position, I'm rediscovering myself as a mom of an infant. You can go through trauma and then create a new normal whenever you've gone through trauma. You're faced with that of like, okay, this is my new life without my mother or without my partner. And so then you're rediscovering those parts of yourself. Jody, what does self-discovery mean to you, and why is it an essential part of personal growth?
I think what Kate said was beautiful. And I also think that, in our world, we tend to get disconnected from ourselves and who we truly are quite often, even from a really young age when we're, first born, we're so connected to our needs and what those are and communicating those. And then over time, we're conditioned and programmed to separate from that, to override, and to really lose ourselves in our roles and in the things that we do. You just mentioned that a little bit there, Jamie, where you were talking about how, we can have trauma that changes, who we are in our experiences, our beliefs about ourselves, our situations, the world around us. We can have changes and new babies and get to know ourselves again. But we can also, as you mentioned, in our roles of being a parent, of being a child, of being a partner, we can really lose a lot of times who we are as individuals in that. All those outside relationships, roles, responsibilities, pressures, and expectations can cause us to lose who we truly are inside, and what are the things that we like, and what are the things that we want, and what are the things that we desire, and what are our needs, physical, emotional, mental, in our lives. And so I feel like that is a process. It's a continuous process where, throughout our lives, it's important. And I think that's how come, every time January hits, people start to think about these things. They start to think about, well, what have I done? Or birthdays, these big milestones. Where am I at? What do I want? Who am I right now? And what are my goals moving forward? It's because moves so quickly especially in our modern times, and we can't easily disconnect. So I think it is important to have these conversations and to have those milestones where we think about how we want to rediscover who we truly are in this moment, in this season of our lives.
I love that. So good, Jody. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next question real quick because, like I said, we've got limited time, and this is so good. It's such a great topic. What role does inflammation or toxicity play in clouding self-awareness? This is so important because, you know, I look at people who have gone through the really severe health problems, and once they've come out of it, they're just like, I don't even know who I am anymore because they attach so much of their identity to their illness. And this is a huge process that we go through with transformation. So nobody knows inflammation more than Judy. Judy has been there, done that, and her story, I'll let her share. But do you want to kind of take this question for us real quick?
Yeah, for sure. So, just a little background on my story. I'll try to make the 7-year journey, really short. But I was hit head on by a drunk driver in a high speed collision in 2012. And I suffered a traumatic brain injury and became a power wheelchair user with no medical hope of recovery. Doctors told me there was nothing that could be done in order to heal my body, and the best I could do was to take prescription medication. And thankfully, it's patently not true because I'm here today, walking, talking, communicating, using both sides of my body. So it's definitely not true. But how does that identity affect you, and how does that inflammation affect you? Because the inflammation, the toxicity, there's literally a fight going on inside of your body. And when that fight is going on inside of your body, you can't help but be agitated, moody, unable to think clearly because your body is constantly sending out those messages that things are not okay. And I think this goes back to that self reflection and figuring out where you are and where you personally are right now. It's a spot on the map. It's not your forever identity, but it's a spot on the map, and it's where are you, not where is your sister's neighbor's best friend. Not where your coworker is or anything else. Where are you, and then how can you move from where you are to where you want to be, and knowing that just like a place on the map, it can move and it can change and it can go in the direction that you want to go in. But the physiological state of your body, that fighting that's going on inside, is always going to affect your mental ability, your spiritual life, your relational life, your joy and happiness. Every area of your life is going to be affected, and so we have to look at all of those things if we want to bring healing as well.
Beautiful. I love that. It's so true. And I love your perspective and your experience. I talk about your experience so often just because, you've gone through so much, through the car accident and the complete transformation of your body and that healing that you've gone through. Does anybody else want to take a stab at that question real quick before I move on to the next?
Well, I would add to it, like, first of all, Judy, amazing, and you are just an inspiration on your own. What I would like to add extra, because the reaction in our subconscious mind is truly, the chemistry that is connected, levels higher cholesterol, so you get the agitation, and it's like you're not really living in the present moment, nor in the future, but more in the past. And as long as you don't redefine yourself to take a step forward to say, okay, I can't change that. I don't want to live that, because as longer you are in the past present living, the thing you're doing is keeping in the past. You don't move forward, so your inflammation and toxicity only gets higher and higher, which then becomes even in worse conditions. So truly take that step forward, so you will see the break of the change of the cycle and change the chemistry inside, so then you can remove and heal.
Beautiful. Good point. I love that. This next question is going to be directed towards Mendy. Mendy, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Can you explain how specific frequencies correspond to the emotional and spiritual states? As we brought up, it's so important, each area of our body, but you are an expert in frequency medicine. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, certainly. So you have probably heard about emotional scales, David Hawkins, map of consciousness and emotions. And so different emotions have different frequencies. We can feel it in our body. Shame being one of the lowest frequencies. And you can feel, just even me saying the word shame can make you turn down, dark, inwards, whereas joy feels expansive and lighter. And each one of those frequencies affects our bodies, because you may not know this, but every organ and cell in your body has its own frequency, its own blueprint, healthy frequency. Not only that, every organ in your body also has the ability to hear. So every organ can hear the frequency that is being emitted by your own body, by other people's bodies, their voices, etc., EMFs, all of those things. They can hear those frequencies and they respond. And so if you are in a negative or traumatic space, maybe you have an abusive boss or a spouse or something like that, it's not just their words. Those words have frequencies, and all of your body, not just your ears, hears that frequency and responds to that frequency. Some of it is a protective response, and some of it is a reactionary response. But we can use frequencies to counteract those negativities. We can actually record your voice and hear the sounds and frequencies that are emitted, and then play back to your body the balancing frequencies. So believe it or not, when they say little ears are listening, you got little ears everywhere. All of your body is listening to those words and those sounds and those frequencies.
So. I love that. I love frequency medicine, and I love what you're doing. This next question here is, what are some simple ways to listen to my body and help it heal itself? So Sheila, let's hear from you, because I know, we talk about essential oils as being a tool, but I believe that there are ways to use those sensory tools to tap into inner self. And I know for myself, when I went through even the birth of her, when you're smelling lavender oil, that can literally help you to engage into that core of yourself, and tap into strength, tap into, a calmness, a sense of calmness. So what are some simple ways to listen to your body that you have found? It doesn't have to do with essential oils, but I just know that that's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, you would be surprised. So with essential oils, I know a lot of times people will talk about them, right? That you can use them different ways, and using them aromatically, right? You can take an oil and kind of rub it between your palms and inhale that, right? And so there is an emotional response to that. So having them there and being able to do that is so important. And having, of course, pure essential oils is key as well. So that way, what you're getting is plant-based. It's from the earth, right? Another way that I have really found for me is grounding. So I'm big on grounding. I've dealt with a lot of anxiety. When I was younger, I dealt with some postpartum anxiety, even long after my kids were born. Not like, they're a lot older now, but I used to deal with a lot of anxiety. So I would find that when I was anxious in the middle of the night, I would wake up and I would go outside, not realizing at that time why I was doing that, but I would just go outside barefoot because I'm like, I gotta move. I was trapped in my house and I would go outside in the middle of the night. But I would find that as I was outside walking around, I was relaxing and connecting, with the ground, and it was helping to ground me. And so that was huge for me. And then once I started researching more of that and realizing what was really going on, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense why I felt better. Right. And then I was calm. But so I still love to do that. My husband and I, when the weather warms up, we're melting a foot of snow here right now in Ohio. So it's not exactly the most exciting to go out and ground at this moment outdoors, but we do like to do that a lot. But we also use woodsy scents as far as essential oils, which can be very grounding. So there's blends that you can put together. Maybe if you have some favorite aromas that you want to use as far as essential oils, which can be very helpful to kind of reconnect you back, all right, and center you. And so I'll do that a lot too. I'll do that. I'll find things that I really love that are emotionally, for me, connecting me to just relax and be calm. And I'll find those scents. And a lot of times those are more of those woodsy type scents, maybe cedar wood. We do have some balsam fir, there's different ones that are just kind of uplifting. It reminds you of being outside, right? Being outside among the trees. And what does that do for us, right? That helps us reset. It also helps us breathe. A big thing that I use in my line of even teaching with my singers, speakers, whoever it is, when you have anxiety, one of the things you need to do is stop and breathe. All right. And it really helps you reset the nerves. And so we work on a lot of breath work in that way because it is so important when you're using your voice, right? In order to be able to do that, to get to the pitches you need when you're singing, you have to be able to breathe. All right. And so the inhale and the exhale are both important in that area. So I find that in that area too, just breathing, whether I'm breathing in oils or I'm breathing in nature, right? The air is so important and very, very important for us and help us reconnect.
I love that. Great word. Anybody else want to touch on that one real quick? Everybody's going for the unmute. Kate, do you want to talk on that a little bit? Some simple ways that you listen to your body. I know you kind of talked about it a minute ago when you were talking about, feeling emotions. But what are some simple ways that you listen to those emotions as an emotion code practitioner?
Sure, I can do that. And then I know Jody was waiting. Did you have something too, Jody? I don't know. You look frozen.
Yeah.
You can
I
go
saw
first.
Jody as well
That's fine.
going.
You can go first.
Okay, awesome. Simple ways that I listen to my body is, honestly just stopping. So if I'm like moving or walking around, I stop and I sit. If I'm sitting, sometimes I'll change my environment from sitting to standing. So sometimes just changing your state then allows you to notice what's going on in your body. And so when I do stop and try and take time, like when Sheila was saying, okay, let's breathe, ground, that type of thing. What I do is I kind of just shut my eyes and I pay attention to where there might be tension in my body. And sometimes that tension is in my jaw or in my mouth or my shoulders or your neck or wherever you notice it in your body. That tension is very much connected to emotion. And so when you can kind of figure out where it is in your body, maybe it's in your stomach, maybe it's in your knee, wherever it is, and you find that tension, you could just honestly ask your body, okay, what are you holding on to? What are you feeling? And I know it may, for some people newer to this type of work, but asking your body, asking that question of yourself you will have a thought come to you, or you will feel something that you can identify. And by doing that, you can just say, okay, I hear you. And I'm, if it's something that's, creates a thought pattern or a memory, you can say, okay, this happened and I'm okay. We're going to let this go. And you can tell your body it's okay to release this. I hear you. I'm going to support you. You're safe. And we're going to let this go now. I tend to have a conversation with my body. So.
I love that. That's also part of quantum healing as well. And, is really feeling that body and having a conversation with it, like you said, and also speaking life over your body, telling your body what to do and how to respond. That's so good. Great tips, Kate. And Jody.
Yeah, so very similar to Kate. One of my favorite techniques is a somatic check-in, where I teach to do a few mindful breaths. So just really focusing on that air moving in and then gathering any tension, tightness, or stress that you might feel, and then releasing that with a nice elongated exhale. And then checking in to see, what am I feeling emotionally and what sensation am I feeling in my body? And what do I need in this moment in order to shift that? If it's something that's maybe negative, or there is stress or tension there. And then doing a few more of those mindful breaths to either help release that, right? To let that go, or to make that shift. And then to give yourself what it is you need. Because often, like I mentioned earlier, we do override those things. And so maybe you figured out you need to stretch, or maybe you figured out you're hungry or you're thirsty, or you need to get up and move or go outside and ground. And so really checking in with yourself on a regular basis will help you get more in tune again.
I love that. That's so true. Okay, so our next question here is, how do physical health and nutrition impact a person's ability to rediscover themselves? I know so often when I encounter people who are just in a really deconstruct stage of their process, there is a reconstruct and a deconstruct. And the part where they are deconstructing, they tend to set aside all of the other aspects of their journey. They set aside nutrition that goes out the window, their physical health, they stop going for jogs. It's like they're in this deconstruct state. But when we are self-rediscovering, we're going through that rebuild state. This part is so important, and I know that you guys understand that. So let's touch on that a little bit. And whoever wants to go first, just go ahead and throw your hand up there, and we'll get you on there. All right, Judy, or no, you want to do it? Go ahead. No, you're good.
Well, I'll take it, but then you can go next, eventually. But I think it is so incredibly powerful to realize that some of these basic things, hydration, vitamins, protein, healthy fats, sunlight, sleep, all these very basic things nourish you on a cellular level. These same cells that are communicating within your organs, that are communicating within your brain, that are communicating within your immune system and your cardiovascular system and everything else, like they need that nutrition in order to operate properly. And when you are starving them of what they need, they're not going to help you out, right? They're trying to send up messages to say, help me, help me, help me. And too often we suppress that symptom, which is a message for our body. And so it sends up another red flag and we suppress that. So whether that's with medication, whether that's with, doom scrolling on social media, whatever it is, we're like suppress, suppress, suppress. And pretty soon we start playing whack-a-mole with our health, that we keep trying to pop up. Our body is so intelligently designed. It's communicating with us, but it's saying this is what I need, and we have to address that at a very basic level to give it what it needs so that it can function properly. And when those cells are functioning properly, when our brain is functioning properly, um, then we can really do that uh, deep dive to say, this is where I am, this is where I want to go. I can create that strategy. I can have that fuller enjoyment of this amazing body that I have, and see where life wants to take me next, because we just need that, and too often we skip those basics.
So true. Thank you so much. Such a great point. Um, okay, so let's go into this question here, unless somebody else was going to jump on and answer that one. Sorry, I'm trying to do multiple things at once here.
I just wanted to add, like, it's really, I need coffee for just a really simple example. I need coffee because if I don't have coffee, I don't function, right? But the truth is, and I have done this with multiple clients and friends, is like, switch your coffee with a blend of mushrooms, and within the first week, feel the difference. You will have the same energy, the same drive, without all the things that are counterintuitive to coffee. And this is on any level. Like, you can have great function, have great nutrition, but truly, for example, are you taking turmeric? Do you add black pepper to it? Because otherwise it doesn't come bioavailable into your body. So are you aware how to actually use your supplement, vitamins, nutrition, so they truly are bioavailable to your body instead of peeing them out in the toilet? So it's really important, because most of the time people are not aware of that. So that's the only thing that I wanted to add to that.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And I think that goes back to checking in with yourself. When I'm working with my clients, I always say, okay, they'll be like, do I have to give up coffee on this protocol? Well, tell me why you go to coffee. Like, let's go down to the root cause of this. Like, what does it serve you? How does it serve you? And then we'll determine if this is going to be life-giving to you or not. And if your body is communicating something different, and we're pacifying that body with something that it doesn't need. Such a great point. So let's see here. See where my next questions are. How can someone determine if their energetic frequencies are out of alignment? It kind of piggybacks into it. Mindy, I'll let you start this one.
So there's lots of different ways. Of course, I have bioresonance technology that at a push a button can say this meridian, this chakra, that organ are not aligned to their blueprint. But one, the energetic frequency will send a message. A symptom is an indication that a frequency is out of alignment, right? It's telling you, you can't sleep at night during a certain time. It's telling you that your liver is working too hard and not getting the resources that it needs to do its job. So it can be as simple as saying, I have a symptom. If you're somebody who does muscle testing, or you struggle to do muscle testing, that can be an indication that your polarity is off, that your conception vessel meridian is not in alignment. So there's a lot of different ways, but probably the one that we encounter the most time is, I have a symptom.
So true. So true. I think that, that's part of the rediscovery process, is connecting with what my body is communicating. When I was going through a lot, we've talked about where pain shows up, or where inflammation, or, where your body is communicating. And mine was always in my shoulders. It would be this shoulder area, and, tapping into that and understanding, okay, I have a lot that I'm shouldering right now. I have a lot that I'm going through, and understanding that connection with our body. And really redefining what is my responsibility to carry, or what is my responsibility to shoulder. So not to be, so minimalistic about it, but it really has those deeper meanings. And I think too, for example, when I was going through a lot of trauma, I wouldn't even breathe. And I had to teach myself how to breathe again. These things are so important to finding that pathway towards yourself again. So it was a great question. Let's see. I'm going to ask this one here. What advice would you give to someone just starting their journey of self-rediscovery? This is such a great question. And, this could be from all over the map from what you guys do. You're all going to bring your perspective, and I love this. So you have my health is so out of line. All of my labs keep coming back normal, but I don't feel normal. You have the aspect of, I just can't concentrate to be grounding. Like when I'm in my meditative state, I can't concentrate. My mind is all over the place. This goes all across the board. So I'm really curious to see what your advice would be for someone who's just starting their journey. And I know there's a lot of people who commented on my post in Facebook about, they're constantly going through this rediscovery process. So let's see, who do we want to call on first? Jody, do you want to go?
Yes, absolutely. I would say that, our minds and our bodies are much more connected than often we think or that we're taught. In the modern world, we're taught like our mind's over here and our body's over here somewhere, and it's not true. They're completely interconnected. And so a lot of the tips that we've been giving of focus on your breath, check in with your body, ask questions, be curious, ask what's going on. What is your body trying to tell you? What is going on emotionally and energetically? Start to get to know yourself and learn how you work best and where some of those maybe things aren't working for you. Start to see, how do you respond to things that you eat, things that you do. Start to look at all the influences around you and where you're spending your time. And is it giving you energy, or is it sucking away that energy? Is it making you feel, better, more energetic, better in your body, better about yourself, in the world? Or is it draining you and taking away from that? So I would start to just really get to know yourself on those basic levels, start to reconnect with who you are, ask questions like, what do I like? What do I want? What do I need in this moment? Get really curious about yourself. And that's a great place to start, and get support. Absolutely. Because you do not have to do this on your own. And as you can see, it's so important to have an entire, in my opinion, entire care team of people that can support you in these different areas, who can help you to reconnect with yourself, and also to right some of those imbalances, that whether it's nutrition, looking at your test results, looking at what's going on in your subconscious, what's happening energetically. We're all here to help others. And so figure out where those pieces are for you, and then reach out for that support that you need and deserve.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. We're going to just go around the table here. So, Judy, what would be your advice to someone who's just starting out their journey of self-rediscovery?
I think that along the lines of what Jody said, first of all, stop and breathe, take stock of where you are, believe that healing and change is possible. Have that hope that things can happen and that you can get to where you want to be. And I would also say, do an exercise. I did this with my clients just last week. Was, let's look back at 2024, or you can look back longer if you'd like, but what is working for you? What are your strengths, your personality strengths? What do people say you're good at? You know, where can you find things that are going well and then pull that information in to help you where you're struggling? And sometimes we are just so focused on what's wrong that we aren't having that balanced approach to things, and we can really pull from the strengths within our body, the strengths within our mind and our personality in order to really help us thrive. So stop, breathe, take stock, and really reach out to someone who is that lighthouse, that can be that lighthouse for you, that can shine light on where you should go, that's the safe route, help you avoid the dangers, and really just kind of guide you to where you need to be.
I love it. Great points. Kate, got anything to add to that?
Oh, I just such good tips here. So I would say just understand that number one, everything's energy, including you. And your thoughts are energy, your emotions are energy, all of like Mindy said, all of your organs, your glands, they vibrate at different frequencies. And so when you're just starting out on the journey of rediscovery, I would say is just one, understand that you are energy and that your body knows how to heal. Okay, your body naturally knows how to heal. And so, what sometimes helps a brand new person looking to rediscover is to realize that sometimes we get used to the energy of how we feel, right? We get used to our symptoms. We get used to our problems. We get used to our diseases. And so we're used to how we feel. And so when we want to rediscover, it's taking kind of like what Jody talked about with questions, and Judy as well. Like, okay, if I'm used to feeling this way, and sometimes we own our disease, which I really encourage people to watch their words and don't own your disease or discomfort. But when you get, if you're going to start on the journey of rediscovery, you want to notice this is how I feel most of the time. This is how I experience the world. So if I'm going to rediscovery, what's possible that I could feel different? You know, like what other things could I feel? What get curious about, okay, I tend to feel down, or I tend to feel stressed, or I tend to feel insecure or nervous, or whatever it is. When you can identify it, you can release it. And so when you're just starting on the journey, just start saying, you know what? This is how I'm used to being. You can say feel, being, whatever, and kind of just journal that and look for your patterns of how you are. And then reach out to a community like Alternative Healthcare Solutions, where you have so many people who are here to support you and help you, and make that change and say, okay, now how can I use maybe a community of other experts to support me? Because if I'm used to feeling one way, to get to another area, that's where you might need somebody to be your guide and to help you. And there's just so many guides here that can help with different things. I mean, I use frequency medicine. I use essential oils when I need to. I use nutrition and supplements, and getting information from different practitioners can be a huge supportive thing when you're just starting on the journey. So that would be my thought.
Beautiful. I love it so much. Sheila, I know you're going to have to jump off soon. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm good right now. But
okay. Did you want to go ahead and take this as well?
Yeah, I think so. Just looking at it from maybe the physical aspect would be something that, as I've gone through what I would feel like is rediscovering, right, a couple of times in my life, but it also had to do with, for me, it was a nutritional aspect. It was weight. I was dealing with different things, and part of that, of course, it was obviously emotional, because I was an emotional eater. I would respond that way. So I noticed that I would have a lot of brain fog. I had no energy. I was tired. So all of those things, I think, that connect us into a lot of the techniques that a lot of these practitioners have available there to help. But for me, I changed my diet. I looked at what I was putting in as my fuel. I looked at what was I doing as far as supplementation, vitamins, minerals. What was I utilizing? Was that helping me, right? What I needed to do. So from that perspective, that was a big change for me personally. I had to kind of revamp all of that, and can be hard when you're really struggling to have a lot of self-control in those areas. But I found that once I started doing that, baby steps every day at a time, that I could look and I could see that I was getting the results from those small steps. But guess what? In turn, that was helping my emotional and my mental state, because that physical state, I was feeling better, right? Overall. And so then in turn, I felt better about myself, what I was going through. And then even some of the physical challenges, the pain, inflammation, things I was dealing with were starting to fall away, because I was able to take care of those issues. So I feel like it's kind of, one affects the other, right? And I think we've all talked about that. Everyone would agree that there's so many things about it. But for me, I noticed that physical aspect, nutrition, what I was eating, what I was putting in as my fuel, was really important. I had to really sit and take a look at that. And I know some of you here are really great with that and are able to do that. So if anybody's looking at that part of, they're like, oh yeah, I do need to look at what I'm putting in, then I would definitely recommend someone reach out, because it's is very, very important, and it will make a big difference at how you feel, how you think, and even just how you move, to be able to get moving. There were days I would just be laying across my bed in the afternoon. I was just so exhausted. I had no energy. And then I found, as I've changed that line of thinking and really worked on that aspect, that I don't have time. I go upstairs at night and I'm like, oh, I haven't been up here all day. I've been so busy. I've been moving and I've been engaged and I've been active, and I feel so much better in that respect. I'm not feeling so discouraged and down. So that's been a big, huge part for me. That's been very helpful. So hopefully that helps somebody out there.
Yes, I love it. You talk about food being something that starts you out in the beginning. And I know Judy's going to have to jump off. So thank you, Judy, for everything. Food, it seems so simple, or so disconnected, right? When we're going through something emotional, let's say we're going through an emotional abusive relationship, right? And so again, we discard the aspect of food because what we need is comfort in our foods. But one of the things that I wanted to bring up in a matter of self-rediscovery and what you're saying, Sheila, is that food contains frequencies. There is frequencies, high vibrational frequencies in raw food and in the food that comes from the earth. And that's one of the processes that we go through. So don't overlook food. Like, I get that food may play a big part in the subconscious mind, but I want to bring it to the conscious mind of that person going through that rediscovery. And I know that so many people, when they go through those stressful stage, they will oftentimes be very underweight because they're stressed, or they'll be very overweight because they're stressed because of the trauma. And again, foods carry a frequency. And so now I'm going to pivot over to Mindy and just have you answer this question as well, because you deal a lot with frequencies, and I know you're nodding your head as I say this.
Yeah, so my tip for starting with self-rediscovery is to be mindful and aware of your words. I don't know how many times I see people and they're like, I'm not stressed, I'm not sad, I'm not whatever. And I'm like, your body through this bioresonance scan is telling me a very different story. Like, your high cortisol, your dehydration, your stress on your knees, blah, blah, blah. And so a lot of times people can be overwhelmed by their pain or their digestive issue or whatever, and that just, it's a hyperfixation on that, and they can't see the way out, that it can be different or anything else. And so I try to sit with people and be a very good listener, because you will say things about your body that you're not listening to. Like Jamie, you were talking about your shoulder. You're like, I'm shouldering too much. You know, times people say, like, I have to carry this, I have to do this, I have to, you know, like it's this heavy weight. And I'm like, are you hearing your words? Your words, not only the sound of the voice tells the story, but the actual words. And we say things the way we say them because it's what is happening, you know. So a lot of times as children are moving out of the house and mothers are wanting to hold on to a child and be their support, but it feels very hard to do when they're across the country, right? Like that physical weight on your shoulder with your arm extended because of, you know, the metaphorical thing that you're going through is causing this big strain on your shoulder, and how many, you know, middle-aged women end up with frozen shoulders. So pay attention to the words that you are saying. If nothing else, sit with a journal and write out your things and then read them back as if you're somebody else. So you're having that awareness of the actual words, or work with somebody, have your spouse hear your actual words, because you will tell the story you need to hear. And then you can use that awareness to move forward.
I love that. It's so important. Our words have so many frequencies in it. And we don't even realize, you know, how powerful our words are in this area. Okay, Ava, you ready? You're up.
Yeah, I am. I'm just, everything is kind of covered. So I'm like, what else can I add even more to it? So first of all, I would say like, I will work with a little bit of examples. So words, as example, is like, I need to, no, you get to wake up in the morning. You get to go to your job instead of I need. So only changing one word can make a whole difference in your frequency, in your alignment, because you words as it's already covered, they are truly frequencies. And as I said in the text, and you mentioned it, it's becoming truly aware of how you feel whenever you being triggered, whenever you say something. And I like to always give it an example of, you know, we always are like beautiful flowers, and we can bloom regardless of our beauty, because we don't see the beauty, we can still bloom. And we are always trying to find and dim our own light because somebody else is getting uncomfortable. But we aren't born to dim our light, we are born to shine. And as we shine, other people around us will start to shine. So it's really important how we talk, how we feel around other people. And another thing that I always like to say, because it's most of the time a step back, is that what you're not changing, you're choosing. So I think I truly see every single year is when schools are starting and the kids go back to school and they tell you like, my kid has this, my kid has this. And it's like, you know, a little octopus, like, what week are we going to get otitis? Which week are we going to get a cold and a flu? Which week are we going to get this? And you know this, you're aware of this, but you're not changing anything about it. So it's really, are you aware and willing to change the cycle you're truly in?
So good. So good. Well, we've come up on the hour now. It always goes by so fast. This is one of my most favorite things that we do here. And our second favorite is the actual health fair day, which is coming up January 25th. It's on a Saturday. And to register, you're going to go to join-ahs.org and you can grab a ticket there. Feel free to use promo code. What is our promo code? I'm drawing a blank. What is it? Oh, let's go. LETSGO. Let's go. All one word, all caps. And that'll get you in for just $1 to our event. But we're going to hear from all of these practitioners. They're going to be really diving in through their modality on what self-rediscovery means for them and how to go through that process. Maybe you're rebuilding yourself. Maybe this has been 2024 was a year of devastation, or maybe 2024 was a foundational foundationals laying year for you. No matter where you are in the process, there are tools and resources and practitioners that have resources for you to learn more on that road of self-rediscovery. And I just invite you to come, be encouraged, be uplifted, be supported, find those practitioners that you align with, and explore all of the different ways that we can start this journey and have a fantastic 2025. So thank you for joining live, and we will be I'm sure we'll be sharing the replay if you didn't catch the first part of this live. And my coworker's getting restless, so thank you, everyone. And again, go to join-ahs.org for more of the show and to register for our event on the 25th. So we'll talk soon. Thanks, everyone.